Skullgirls has no shortage of interesting character concepts, from a powerful one-man band to an amorphous blob to a ninja nurse, but few reach the head-scratching level of Misfortune. A catgirl cursed to be undead, Misfortune combines feline rushdown tools with the mobility and puppeteering you'd expect from someone who can take themselves apart. Misfortune, while intriguing, is traditionally not the most popular pick in Skullgirls. While her skill ceiling is high, so is the barrier to entry due to her disembodied puppet head mechanic. However, PME, one of the best Skullgirls players to ever do it, believes that with the proper work, Misfortune can truly wreak havoc. Today, PME shares the secret sauce. What is up, y'all? KRC Pinto here, today hanging out with PME. PME might recognize him from the Skullgirls League that's going on as one of the best Misfortune mains out there. PME, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing great. Kind of reeling after the ass beating I just took from you. This character is brutal. Brutal to fight.
She's pretty oppressive once you get her down.
Yeah. Really looking forward to talking about her today. I know she's got some pretty cool mechanics with the head roll and stuff like that, so should be a pretty sweet episode. You ready to get into it?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, so first question, what is your favorite move of hers and why? It can be normal, special, super, just whatever you like best and why you feel that way.
My favorite move for Fortune probably changed over the years, but it's all come down to her head-on stand hard punch. It is a really good poke, can kind of confirm from catgirl from really far away, and I don't really, even though she's a rushdown character, she can just rush down and try to start her pressure, but she cannot get close to the opponent. She can kind of like just press this button to see where they're at, to try to check them to see what they're doing, and if all seems okay, she can also cancel into fiber to try to get in that way.
Oh, do you have, since she does have her moves changed, do you have a favorite head off move too?
My favorite head off move? I don't like them all as much as Sand Hard Punch, but it'll probably be Sneeze now that that got changed. Sneeze used to not go as high as before. I do really like the walk, but I don't like it as much as Sneeze. Sneeze, they changed the arc of it, so it hits higher. So now, Pinwheel used to be able to avoid the head, the Sneeze, but just flying up here. So you sneeze, it will always miss her, but now it'll hit her. Since it goes a bit higher and a bit farther. So since you see right there, it actually like reaches the health bar. Before it did not reach the health bar, barely maybe was under the undizzy bar. So it made the matchup much more bearable. So Sneeze is really good now.
It's so funny how much effort they put into animating her disembodied head.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it's always doing something funny. So,
yeah.
Skullgirls, a team game if you want it to be. You do run a team of 3. What is your favorite assist for Misfortune and why?
I kind of only run Fiber, her DP assist, because it doesn't have a lot of other good options. A lot of our other options involve having her head off already, and then tagging out, and then she'll be able to have access to Cat Slide or Elgato, which is like low and overhead options respectively. But a lot of times I don't know if I'm gonna be head off by the time I tag Fortune out. So I'd rather just have a consistent option of just having a DP assist when she's in the back. Even if her head's off, on point is not a DP. This only has throw and ball when she has her head off. But as an assist, it still has the full in ball as normal. So I kind of just have to run Fiber up. Unfortunately, I would like a different assist option, like if she would get like a Cat Scratch ×3 option or something, that would be nice. But as it is, it has to be the DP assist.
Gotcha. Does that work well with your team? Like, do they get a lot of function out of her DP assist?
It's harder for Pimo, but she can, yes. Robo Fortune for sure loves the DP assist because she doesn't have a good reversal on her own. Then rather this is one hit of armors and hard punch. But having a DP assist definitely helps her get away so she can go back to zoning to do what she wants to do. And also, she's one of the few characters, probably like 3 or 4 characters that can actually convert from her DP assist easily. So she could do that and convert off of it. Other characters have a really hard time, I'll show you. Or if that DP assist happens, they're kind of like really hard for them to get up there to convert off of it properly. So I think I had to like do like super jump with Pain to just to get up there. Yeah, I had to super jump up there, and I have to know it's gonna hit. Whereas Robo doesn't really have to see, doesn't have to commit to a follow up if it's gonna hit or not. It's like, oh, it hit, and then you convert.
And you do run Fortune Point, correct?
It depends on who I'm fighting. A lot of times I'll run Robo Point because that's just how the meta has changed. I'd rather run a keep away kind of the centric team when I'm fighting other players, but sometimes I'll switch to Point Fortune because that's what I used to run for years and years. It's just only recently I've played Robo Point.
What do you think's her like optimal team position?
Definitely Point for sure. She's a absolutely Point character because she builds a lot of meter and she doesn't really have good assist or DSC options. So yeah, once you get to build a bunch of meter, you can definitely DSC into a character that can definitely benefit from it, like Painful, for example, because when she goes to the hit install, she can hurt a lot. Because when she's in the back, she doesn't really have. For example, let's see. So if I used up my OTG as another character, and then use Deathcore or whatever, and then DC into her, this isn't a sliding knockdown anymore because I already burned up OTG. So she would like to be on point, so she can have access to backer up, so she can get in easier and then start her game plan.
All right, so let's talk about her neutral. So this character definitely rushdown oriented. She does some head stuff, which can be tricky. How do you approach neutral with her?
I approach neutral by just calling assist and try to run in and see how my opponent is going to respond to the assist call. If I see them jumping, for example, let me put her on jumping, manual and jump. If I see them jumping a lot and I call the assist, I'll probably like jump up there to try to check them to see what they're doing. And if they're not jumping at all and just kind of like trying to play a ground game, I'll be much more careful because a lot of players actually put them crouching would be a better example. A lot of times I like to call my beam assist so I can actually go in, but it doesn't hit crouchers, as you can see, except for Eliza and Big Man because they're very tall. If I see them doing this, I'll definitely back off because I will not try to go in because they know that the weak spot of beam is to just crouch under it. So I will back up to see what they were going to do instead. If I can't get in with beam assist, I'll try to poke more with send hard punch as I said before because I really like this button for pokes. Especially when I'm backing up with a different assist because I can confirm that hit and I can go in for an assist follow-up. If they blocked it, I can go for a mix-up instead. Block alt. And then do this. And then go for like a triple overhead there. Yeah, I'll try to like jump a lot, honestly. I'll try to super jump as little as I want to, honestly, because if she normally double jumps, she retains to be a ball. Essentially is what the community basically calls her when she's normal jumping, just turns into a ball. So it definitely shrinks her hurt box so that she can avoid a lot of hits that way, which is very good for wanting to go in. If she super jumps, she becomes really tall, and that's not really what you want. But yeah, I'll try to jump in and just neutral jump and call assist, see what happens. If the character I'm fighting against doesn't really have good air options, so they like to be on the floor a lot, I like to just kind of poke with crouch light kick to try to check them. Maybe crouch light kick and hard punch is a good string. Once I do get the hit, I like to go into probably super just to get the sliding knockdown, to be honest. So if I get the hit, I'll be like, okay, cool, it's time for sliding knockdown time. And I'll just do this and go straight into head off play. If a character has like good DC options, I tend to not do that. I tend to just get like a mid-screen reset, like say for this throw, for example, and then kill them. But I definitely want to limit their options as much as I can do. But yeah, neutral is just very poke heavy for me. I used to be very rushdown oriented and just kind of like throw my face at them and see what happens. And just be like, okay, cool, something is going to happen now. But now I'm definitely, with the way everyone has geared their teams around, they have really strong neutral options, so that's not an option anymore. And I have to like play much more patiently, even with a rushdown character. And just that's how it is.
What do you? I mean, I know you said it's really poke heavy, but like, is that kind of where you fall back into if she ends up in a solo situation? Is just kind of weaving in and out, going for pokes?
Yeah, if she's by herself and the team is dead, definitely happens when I'm playing her anchor instead. When I'm playing Point Robo, I definitely will not press as many buttons as I possibly can, and definitely look for something that can punish the opponent for doing. So I will jump a lot when I'm playing this character by herself with no one backing her up, because if just the way the game is now with other teams, if I try to even poke with this button and they'll do something armored with their point character backed up by an assist, they're gonna armor my hit, I'm gonna get hit, and they're gonna convert, and I'm going to die. So I just would rather just jump around and see what happens. If they do use a lot of armor, I'll try to poke with like slide, because it breaks armor since he said it's a slide. Or rather, it's considered a sweep, so I can just break the armor and still convert off of it. And if they don't have good air options, like I said before though, and she is by herself, then I'll forego being a ball and just use a super jump and try to go above them and try to start my pressure that way. But yeah, I had to be really careful when she's by herself.
So I know the head is mostly a pressure tool, but do you ever find yourself in situations where like you're separated from it? Like, does it become a neutral asset for you?
Yeah, it's actually a really good neutral option. I just don't like playing headless neutral, but it is absolutely a really good option. Whenever the head is behind the opponent, they always have to think about how they want to play neutral and still factoring what the head can do, because I can very easily just convert off of any straight hit and just do that. And I can just walk the head whenever I want to, and even though like that distance, I can still like zoom the head towards them, and then I still have to. It's a conversion from that. And if they're jumping, they still have to be careful, because I can sneeze the head up there, and even if they block it, I can go in and just follow up with something else in case the sneeze actually hit them or not. Is not really relevant. If it hit, that's great, because I get to convert them to a combo. If they blocked it, then I most likely get to gel them back down to the floor and go for a mix-up. If they try to push block in the air, then I get a left, right, or an air throw. Because it's really hard for Fortune to be push blocked out, so you can very easily get back in. The only thing I have to worry about if they push block in the air is if they have air supers, honestly.
Gotcha.
But yeah, headless neutral is pretty fine. You have to always watch out for it. It is very good. I just don't do it much, because I prefer to play head-on neutral, because I can more easily go into sliding knockdowns from head-on.
The head takes damage too, doesn't it? Bit of a risk there.
Yeah, it does take damage. It takes about 50% of the damage, which scales down to a minimum of 30% of the total damage of a hit. So if you combo both the head and the body, that's like 150% damage she's taking.
Oof.
Which is another reason I don't like to play headless neutral, because that situation never happens, I am definitely exploding.
All right, any other stuff we should talk about for neutral for her?
Probably the one that people are probably thinking about, which is using Fiber Opera as a neutral option, because you can jump cancel it on either whiff or hit.
You can jump cancel the DP?
You can jump cancel the DP on whiff or hit, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Regardless of the strength of which one it is. And you can convert off of it meterously, but just like bringing them back down. It is a very big DP though, so even if you block it way up there, she is still stuck in recovery and you can land and punish her, but many people don't.
How punishable is that if you jump cancel it? Like, are you gonna get caught for that if someone reads it?
There is recovery if you do with cancel DP, but it's not that much, honestly. Let me actually put it in slow motion and I can show you. So as soon as I turn purple, that's when I can act again after whipping the DP. As soon as I turn purple, there. Okay. Up until that point, I am in counter hit state.
Neutral, we're poking, we're using assists to get a hit. So now you're in there. It's time to do pressure and mix up, something this character excels at. This is gonna obviously take a minute, but where do we start with her pressure and mix up for you? What's the go-to?
When she's already in, definitely try to poke and see what's going to happen with Dan Light Punch. Since this button is 5 frames, which is tied for the fastest jab in the game along with Filia's, but hers, Fortune is also +5 on block, as well as on hit. Oh no, on hit is +4, but on block, she definitely can just gel into more jabs, and every other jab will lose to it. So if it wasn't for push block, he could kind of do this forever. But once you do get a jab to check them to see what they're doing, you're like, okay, cool. They're stuck in this place. You can go for either a low or overhead option, and it's up to the opponent to guess, honestly. But she's not that plus. So if you have a character with DP, it'll hit her after you block this, and you try to go for another option. She can't recover fast enough from her crouch light kick. Crouch light kick is kind of slow on the whip recovery or the block recovery, honestly, because once she commits to this, there's a lot of, count the frames, 21 active frames, looks like it's top right. Yeah, so it's 21 active frames for this move. Not active, but sorry, from start to finish for this move. So all DPs will hit her on startup. Even if she block stand light kick, stand light punch, it'll still be 16 frames, and most DPs, really fast DPs, are around 8 frames. So she has to be careful about their reversals. However, if they don't reversal, you definitely get a mix-up regardless of what you try to do afterwards. But being in there with pressure, she can go for like a double overhead like this real quick. It didn't used to be a thing. A lot of times they used to jump like it used to whip characters, but it got fixed. It's fine now. So double overhead is pretty good. And also crouch light kick, as I still have to guess. Crouch light kicks and hard punch is a really good string, because as you put them on block after only the first hit. So you see how this same hard punch hits anyways. This is how you when you put the first hit only. You can also, this is how you check for missed push block attempts. So crouch light kick into the stand hard punch is not a true block string. So if they miss the push block on the crouch light kick, they're just like a little bit late. That means you will catch their backdash and you get to convert off of that. So that's a really good strength that you have. A lot of beginning fortunes honestly should be learning crouch light kick stand medium kick, because it is a true block string and you get to easily confirm if it hit or not. But once you get more familiar with the game and understand that push block baits are really important, you want to start using crouch light kick stand hard punch, because it's a really good 2-hitter. And still, even if it doesn't, and if the crouch light kick did hit, the best thing about it is it's still a true combo. So they still combo into each other. They just not a true block string.
Does that work as like a frame trap? Like if they push a button there, are they in trouble?
Yeah. If they push a button, they will get hit as well. But yeah, those are her low and overhead options. If they did push block and you didn't get pushed away for whatever reason, that mostly means they're probably gonna try to PBGC to try to take their turn back, either through a button or a reversal. If you see it, you could probably just go for a head roll, and that's also, this is hit invul. So she has like 2 DPs. She has this DP, which is fully invul if she has her head on, and she has her head roll, which is only strike invul. But it is really good to try to lessen the guessing on your part, because if they hit you or if they didn't block it or whatever, it'll stagger them, so you get a follow-up. Like so. So you get a follow-up. If they did block it though, it's not the end of the world. It is only -2 at worst, actually. So it's really good there. So you see at the bottom of the screen, it'll say -2. And that's space dependent, so it can be even plus. So even up here is like +3. I've checked most ranges, and -2 to +5 ranges, they can still be staggered if they got hit. So it's a really good fallback plan. If you see a push block, or if they see they're trying to take their turn back through some means, you can use that, or just commit to the DP, of course. But if they did block after push block and you guess wrong, and you just die. But yeah, going in also, if you see them they're respecting you, you can still go for a throw. It's kind of weird to go for a throw on characters with fortune, because it's kind of hard to convert off of it without meter. She can convert off of the whole cast meterlessly with cat scratch and try to end it in slide. And she has to pick up off of that before they touch the floor again. I personally don't do it because this is a team game, so I don't have to do it. I can just call my assist. Oh. And just do that instead. Or if she's by herself, then you can do this, where you can spend the bar to convert off of it mid-screen. Do that instead, and then sneeze up there, and then try to convert off of that instead. But her mid-screen throw options aren't the best in the world, so many fortunes won't really do it. Her air throw is kind of fine though. It's not too bad. Sit out still on block. Yep. And just block the first hit. It's fine. There we go. That should be good. And you convert off of that. If they're really high, then you just use super though. Since she does OTG, she can convert off of it without having to do the sneeze conversion, which is fine. But she has really good buttons, so you kind of don't want to use her throws. She can kind of go in when she wants to, unless they have a team that's oriented to stop you from doing that, in which case he has to jump around and look for fish for mistakes.
How does it change when you get your head off and they're blocking? Can you set up some devious stuff that way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So let me actually put them on block, because they'll get flung in some direction otherwise. So you can just make them block the head like this and just keep crushing them. And just keep going, honestly. If they don't push block you, then it's going to be forever, honestly. Like, this is all true blocks, and then just kind of have to stay there and then have to go look for overheads all the time. You can just tell the head to make them block first and be like, okay, cool, the head is going to make contact with them. That means they're going to be in block stun, which means they can not reversal, so you can go for anything you want after that. And if it hit, then you get a combo, obviously. And if it didn't hit, you still get a mix-up, because chances are, when they block the head, they didn't immediately push block, and they're not using the function in the game called absolute guard, that we like to call it, where you can just block high and low at the same time. Most of the time, they're not doing that. They're just blocking your straight headbutt. So I always take that opportunity to go for a mix-up after that. But like, okay, so if it did hit, I'll get a conversion, but if they didn't block, and I just go for a mix-up. Or just go for like a cross-up or something, you know.
Okay.
That's actually it's a weird height thing. No. Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah. There we go. When she's head off, ground throw is a much more favorable option, because no matter where the head is, you can just convert off of it anyways. You just walk the head, now that it's a new function, and then you just do headbutt. Because walking the head is a really good thing that they added her in 5 years ago, which is a really good option. It asked us how we would like to walk the head, and we're like, probably holding hard punch, since we're not using hard punch for anything else, and just holding left and right to move the head. If we're crouching, obviously we don't move, so we can just move the head without moving. And all our head options are tied to HP anyways, so they also gave us the option to pick something that won't tell the head to do a command once we let go of hard punch. And we're like, just hold neutral down and just let go of hard punch. Once we're holding neutral down, we won't get any kind of weird inputs, because otherwise we'll still get like headbutt if we don't do it, etc. But zoom is also really good, because it forces the issue and it puts the head where you want it to be faster. So you can put it over here and then you kick the head and you're like, okay, cool, it's my turn. There's a really good function in the game, now that reminds me, is kicking the head is really good for neutral as well. You kick the head and it's pretty much very low committal move to get in immediately. So you can actually, let me do this, slow motion, and then hit boxes. So once I kick the head, once you hit the head with any kind of launcher, you can still jump cancel it, because if the game said you hit something that allows you to jump cancel on hit, it'll let you do that, except for like Eliza DP, which is kind of weird. But once I hit my head with my launcher, which happens to be stand hard kick when my head is off, I can just jump cancel that. Once that happens, I can jump with the head, start blocking, and then the head goes in as a hitbox while I'm blocking. And I can convert from a hit in case it actually hit. It's really good there. Turn the head off again. Head off, convert if it hits. Pretty good. Pretty low committal. Even if they push block, a lot of times you hit them twice really fast, because if they push block a hit and you immediately hit them afterwards, your body will not get pushed at all. So a lot of times I like to follow up with a jump light kick immediately after the head makes contact with them because one, it'll convert if a hit, obviously, but if they blocked it, it's really hard for them to push block it, and I can gauge where the head is after that. Oh, let me just take my head off like this, and then put the head back here, go in, like that. Even if the head is over here and they're blocking, I could be like, that's all right. I can still launch the head and still jump cancel on essentially block like this, and have a really low committal block string because I could go crouch like kick, stand hard kick, and still do that. If it hits, I get to convert into a combo for sure. But if they block it, then I go for another mix-up instead. Just really low committal with big reward.
So normally I would ask about Oki right now. I know this is not a super Oki heavy game, but it does have a lot of resets and a lot of incoming situations. So why don't we just move through some stuff you would do in those kinds of situations? Let's start with resets. What are you doing to like reset somebody, trip them up, get your combos restarted?
A lot of times, I'm actually gonna take this off because it's not important, honestly. Is when I'm resetting with this character, I always tend to use this as a reset point where I'll launch them up with my DP, I'll jump cancel it, and then do like one hit of jump medium kick, and then I'll fast fall it. That way, I can set up a left, right, or air thread off of that. So I could be over here, be same side. Oh, didn't get there, cross under. Be over here instead. Go like cross up overhead. Like cross under, cross over overhead. And go same side overhead. I just go for an air throw. I tend to do a lot. And convert off of that. Sometimes I'll bait them to see if they're gonna air super. If they have one, I'll just walk back. I just do like a really quick cross up. I do that instead. Go same side overhead. But those are my favorite resets, honestly. She also has a burst bait from it. You can honestly, that's not what I want to do. I'm kind of close to the corner actually. Let me just do it over here. I'll do this as a burst bait because I really like it. I can hit them for it. Can also do another burst bait because they tend to see me going for a lot of air throws. I'll do this instead. That's another burst bait. But I am, as a fortune, I do value sliding knockdowns a lot. So I will go for the conventional type of Oki. And I'll achieve that usually through my super, which is a lot I did in the game. I'll tend to go into head off from there. And I could do basically whatever I want after that. However, recently I've been doing it meteorously because she has basically a Makoto axe kick move called El Gato, and she has 3 strengths to it. If she does the regular medium or light, I'll just knock him back down to the floor or whatever. So there's a medium one as well. I'll just do the same thing. I'll just knock him down. Heavy though is very slow, so a lot of times you can't combo into it. So it'll block here. So the way you combo into that move is you gotta TK it after you launch. That'll give you enough frames to actually connect with it. The good thing about this move is when you connect, it'll give you a sliding knockdown if you still have your OTG. So I'll do that. So once I do get the sliding knockdown, it's essentially the same situation as when I do super. I take off my head and I'll go for high-low mix-up. That's also a safe jump. Gotcha. So I've been doing that in the last year and a half because I value retaining my meter more now. Because now that I have Pinwheel on the team, she can spend the meter instead and kill them off of my hand. Because all Fortune has to do is win neutral, build meter, and then land a hit that will kill through a DC. That is essentially her job on the team, even though she is my main. But that is just how the game has changed over the years, and that's what I have to do. That's not that big a deal. But yeah, if I reset with the Fortune, it's usually because I can't kill them outright. If I can't kill them outright, I'm most likely going to PC. But I'll do the reset, or I'll do the sliding knockdown. It's one or the other.
Okay.
But yeah.
So, what about on incoming? This is a game where the snaps are a little brutal. Do you have anything you can set up on them that makes them sweat when they're coming on screen?
Fortune not as much as other characters, but if she has her head on, she can then block still. Nah, it's still getting hit. Okay, cool. You can kind of like walk back and do a stand hard kick cross under. If you can just do air throw like most characters can, you kind of just do this and go for an overhead. It's kind of like accepting them to respect you, because if they don't respect it, then usually they tend to get hit by like some meaty button or whatever. So that's always an option you gotta look out for, like all 15 characters. If you're coming in and incoming, they can all meet you, and incoming you can't press anything. Once you're coming in as another character, there are 2 frames when your character is on screen that you're not allowed to press anything. You can still block, but you just can't input a button or a super, etc. You kind of just have to hold the mix-up that they come in on you. But it's only 2 frames, so you definitely don't have to hold a cross-up for sure. But a lot of people will most likely do that. If their characters can double jump, a lot of people will usually double jump on incoming. They'll just buffer double jump and then try to have their fingers overthrow just in case. Some characters will just come in with a button anyways and not care what your kind of incoming is, kind of just calling you out for it. But with Fortune, especially if I'm head off, I will tend to do this. I'll kick the head towards them. If they have a character that has an air super, since I jump cancel my launcher, I get to just block this air super. If they hit a button, then the head being flung up there from the stand hard will hit them and counter hit it for it, and then I can convert off of it. If they blocked it though, let me actually put them in. Yeah, let me snap it first. Actually, not gonna snap first, and I hit the head.
Wait, what happens if you hit the head with the snap?
If you hit the head with the snap, it still costs a bar. Actually, let me demonstrate this now, I suppose. If you hit the head with the snap, it'll bounce across the screen like a ping pong ball. And if it hits them, it will still have the snap property, so you can still snap out a character with it.
What? You can do like a long range snap? That's
You can do
kind
a
of
long
crazy.
This used to be the thing to try to stop pinwheels because they fly a lot, so it's kind of hard to hit them with Fortune before you got the sneeze buff. But it's a very, very rarely thing done. You'll rarely see Fortunes actually spend a whole bar just to snap the head from afar, just to do all that. It still has all the snap properties attached to it, so you can still break armor with it because snaps break armor. So if they do expect an armored move and you want to bring in the other character instead, you can snap your head from a distance to try to call them out for it. But a lot of times I won't do that, so I just hold hard punch. If you hold hard punch, you cannot hit the head, by the way, because it's expecting a command. So while you're holding hard punch, you will not be able to hit the head at all. So if I'm gonna snap, I tend to just hold hard punch and not fling the head anywhere. But yeah, it is a thing she can do with her head in a meter, but it's not something you'll see ever, honestly.
That has to be like super hype if you hit that though. Like if you just snipe someone with it.
Yeah. If I have 2 characters, I'm happy birthday them. I'll double snap them, and I won't care about bouncing the head because regardless, I'm just gonna wait until. Let me actually demonstrate it. It'll work good on Beowulf because he's a big character. So let me actually do that. Take that out for recording. Call assist. Oh, good. It's chair toss assist, of course.
He's ready to rock.
Yeah. So it's a reversal. Take the head there. It's fine. And then. And I'll just wait for it and I'll just do that instead. But a lot of Fortune players don't do that. They'll just hold hard punch anyway just to keep the head in the corner. I don't really care because once you double snap in, you can just continue your double snap and just walk the head along and just have it there for when it's ready. Let me actually make her do. I think double will get hit again because I want to demonstrate it. Let me back up because charcoal. There we go. Let's do that with double instead. And put that there. That's fine. Block. Oh God! Reach. I didn't get there in time. Oops. Head there. Just tell her headbutt. It's fine. God. There we go. There we go. It'll hit them twice like that. And players don't like it when that happens, so they just will hold hard punch so that doesn't happen at all. But again, you can just walk the head while you're snapping and it's fine. And now it's there, so it's fine. It's not that big a deal. Take that off now. But yeah, incoming setups. Many characters like doing like just jumping over a character and try to go for like a ambiguous left right. Let's do this. There we go. So I'll do that, but again, that's only if they don't double jump on incoming, because double jump will avoid that setup most of the time. But a lot of times, as you know from this game, that has an undizzy mechanic, so you can't make your combos too long. But if they're like this, let me actually make them take the throw. Once you take a throw, you actually lose undizzy for successfully taking your throw. I didn't actually do it correctly. I'm just gonna have the undizzy. That won't work. Let me just fill up undizzy. That's fine. And you see how it's rather not the throw tech itself that reduces your undizzy. It's the fact that you're now in a state where the opponent's not either hitting you or making you block, so the undizzy bar will lower. And that means during the throw tech amount of time, let me put that to slow-mo now. As you can see, the green bar, while both characters are in a forced tech situation, the green bar will lower. So a lot of times I will purposely go for the throw, like usually a really obvious throw, just so they can tech it. And once they do tech it, the undizzy bar will be lowered, so that way my next hit, if it managed to connect, I can get a much better combo from it. And if they got thrown, then I just go for like a mix-up or something, because I still got the throw. So all in all, like I benefit more from just throw if I'm head on, but if I'm headless, I'll a lot of times just kick the head and see what happens from there. But let's see. Actually, let me build up the undizzy, see if I can get this off, because I don't want to demonstrate it. So tech throw and come in. I missed it. Fine. We'll just do this. Go in for an air dash. And if the air dash hits, is usually they already don't have any undizzy left over, and I got a raw jump in starter, and a lot of times that usually means they died. Because I can DC to a character that'll kill them.
Let's talk about her defense. So we've talked about offense a good bit, but sometimes you got to block. So we've talked about, she's got a DP, she's got strike and vol on the head roll. Does she have anything else she can do when she's stuck in defense, that maybe anything that like takes advantage of system mechanics at all, or any special properties she can take advantage of?
Aside of her DPs, nothing in terms of system mechanics, just supers, honestly. That's the only other involved thing she has that can fight back. She has her jab, of course. So if you see a gap in their offense, you can use her jab, which is, again, tied for the fastest jab, and has a really good frame data on it. So you can use her jab. It hits really high, hits every character crouching, which is not something that can be said by other characters. So sometimes Philia's jab can whip on certain crouching characters, but not Fortune. She has a really good hitbox on it. Also chains into itself, so you can do it twice, even on whiff. So she can do that on defense, but again, she has her supers, which have invol just like a DP. But if they block it, of course you die. She has her level 3, which is again has full invol. It's a hit grab, so it can break armor. But if they block it, again, you die. Because it's still a reversal. So a lot of times she has to be really straightforward with her defense, which is just either using her 2 DP options, which is regular DP and the head roll, using supers, or just like being patient and try to push block them or try to jab your way out.
If you're in a situation where the body is blocking but the head is around, can you manipulate the head at all while you're in block, or is that kind of locked out until you're free?
No. If Fortune is in hit or block stun, she cannot control the head at all. But even more beyond that, once Fortune has to leave hit stun and block stun for at least 30 frames before she's allowed to control the head again anyways. So I will do this with Philia to demonstrate. I managed to put in slow-mo, so this would be better. So I'll hit Fortune with Philia here. I want you to keep your eyes on the head. It'll have its tongue out because like it's tired or something. Oh, actually it's doing this, but that's also means she's in hit stun, so yeah. So when she's doing that flailing thing, she can't control the head at all. If I'm blocking, I wonder if I can make her block on this side, actually. Alright. Yeah, it'll have the tongue out like that. Yeah. And we'll put this in slow-mo. So until that character leaves block stun or hit stun, it'll still be like 30 frames after that, and then you can control the head. Even though she stopped having the tongue hanging out, but she still has the lockout. So when your opponent is layering their offense by doing frame traps, you still can't really tell your head to save you if they're frame trapping within a few frames. So also there's only like 2 commands that can actually do anything, even if Fortune is in hit or block stun. Let me actually tell her to do the thing. So I'm gonna tell her to jump, and I'm gonna tell her to sneeze. So I'm gonna do that as a reversal, and save load. So sneeze is one of the few things that'll still come out if Fortune isn't hit stun at all. So you can try to do that to save you. Numb is another option, but only works if you're blocking. She gets hit, the head will stop doing what it wants to do. So I'll let it walk for a little bit. See how it stops anyways if Fortune's a hit stun?
Right.
So most of her options will do that if she got hit. A lot of her options will still stop if she's put in block stun. Sneeze and numb are the only 2 that can still continue to happen even if Fortune is put into block stun. I just put it to block. Always. The head will keep going and I'll get counter hit. Oh, I didn't put her to block. There we go. So she can do that, but it has to be as I demonstrated, it has to be like a very huge gap that the opponent is giving you, and then you can use your head to maybe save yourself. So a lot of times she's head off, she doesn't have access to her DPs, only her supers. So if you think they're just baiting your supers, a lot of times you just kind of have to sit there and guess correctly on their offense to try to push block them out, try to return back to neutral. Because otherwise you kind of have to sit there. More things with her is like she has probably the best movement options out of the whole cast, honestly. There is, of course, the flight character pinwheel, which gives you this fly. Of course, that's really good movement. But in terms outside of flying, Fortune is probably the best at it because she has a double jump and she still has her air dash, regardless if you double jumped or not. Because some characters lose their double jump if they air dashed. I don't know why I'm forgetting who that happens to, but I'm still trying to think. But anyways, she has her air dash. She has a dash on the floor rather than a run rather than a dash. She has a run on the floor. Really good. Is low to the floor, so a lot of projectiles will go over her, namely Parasol Tear Shot and I think Fuka and Fireball will go over her. So she can run under it. Try to start pressure that way. She has jump medium kick, which kind of like delays her landing. Also, the same goes for axe kick because it is an axe kick, so it kind of delays her landing. So if you use that as a mix-up, so you could be like double jump, air dash. Oh, let me not land just yet, and you'll do an axe kick just to delay your landing even more, or you can just land on top of them and just throw them off. She still, of course, has DP, which puts her at super jump height, so you could be on top of the screen and still have her double jump, and still have her air dash, and still have her axe kick to delay her landing. When she's up there, she can throw her head when she's up there, actually. So it also has like delay her landing even more. You still do an axe kick on top of that. So really good movement options. Can be a stay as a ball to shrink your hurt box. She doesn't have to do fiber to get a super jump high. It's a super jump, for God's sake. So you just use your regular super jump. Yeah, just that's the only thing we haven't really touched upon. It was like really good movement.
Looks like you're like using your normals to even like shift your momentum like forward and backward in the air there.
Yeah, I just jump back and I do jump medium kick supposed to be forward. That's the only normal that can change my momentum at all. Outside of that, it's just a special moves and her air super, I guess, but that's her air super, which of course you die if they block you.
So you were doing that and then like air dash back and then something else?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'll do that. You can also just do. You still have your run, of course, but you have your Rekkas. So you can do Rekkas to get in. You can do the heavy one, which reaches really far. And try to poke a button or something. You can go for like a quick slide with the light Rekka and just go directly into slide. If you're over here, that's probably a plus. Should get as like high as +4, I think. If you like really space it well. Slide is really good for just staying low to the ground anyways and try to break any armor attempts. Like a lot of Bellows will try to run at you with their command run, and her command run is armored. So if you anticipate it, you could just go Rekka directly into slide. If your head off, you just go straight into slide. You don't have a Rekka anymore, so you just have the slide. But yeah, you have that slide option. Again, Rekka is also still really good for movement and just pressure in general, because the light one is actually neutral on block. And the good thing about that is she has a 5-frame jabs, which is, again, tied for the best in the game. So being 0 on block is really good for her, because she can just hit jab and usually win. And then since she hit jab, is usually her turn. So unless they push block, you usually get a mix-up off of it. But yeah, just movement in general. That's about it.
All right, PME, if someone came to you tomorrow and said, look, I'm thinking about picking up Misfortune, but I'm on the fence about it, what are you saying to them to push them over the edge? Why should someone play Misfortune in Skullgirls?
You should play Misfortune because once you actually put the hard work into learning everything she needs to do, learning her head-on stuff as well as her head-off stuff, you will learn that she actually is a very oppressive character that can cover a lot of options on the opponent's defense, and it's really rewarding once you get the hit, and it's really fun once you get all the pressure strings tuned down and just understand how you want to layer your pressure just to be able to bait options on their side. A lot of people won't play Fortune though, because they'll play other characters that are easier and can still achieve the same goal. So usually it's pretty straightforward, where it's I want to win neutral and then I want to kill them when I get the hit. Other characters can do that. Fortune is less popular because it takes more work for her to do that, because you have to learn the nuances with her head-on and head-off stuff. But once you do learn it, she's very scary, and people have said I make her look like a very scary character, maybe even like a top tier character above like most other characters. But it's only because I just put a lot of work into her and I make her look scary, honestly.
All right, well, that is all I've got for you today. Let's plug your stuff. Where can people find you if they want to see some sick Fortune tech? Do you have Twitter? You have Twitch, YouTube? Where are you at?
I sometimes stream on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/PME_FGC. On Twitter, I'll sometimes post random clips from that happen in the game, involving a lot of characters, not just Fortune, which is PME_SG. YouTube is basically just the one Fortune guy, which you can find on my pinned tweet on my Twitter. Anyways, there's nothing else that gets posted on that YouTube account.
Cool. Anything else you want to plug?
No, that's it. Just play Skullgirls, especially now that we're getting the season pass with new characters coming.
Never been a better time.
Yeah.
We got pro support. We got DLC coming in. It's definitely time for Skullgirls.
Yeah, especially with big tournaments coming on the horizon.